first nation to actually qualify for the World Cup in 2026, securing the spot in the last round of matches, who, of course, will edge closer to join them in the USA, Canada and Mexico tournament next year. We're going to take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video today. It's all about match number 8. That's right, in the AFC qualifiers. That's right, Asia on the spotlight right here, right now, to see who will join Japan to represent Asia in the World Cup in around about 18 months' time. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Of course, if you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and you want to shop for Blackburn Rovers, World Football, World Cup qualifiers. We're going to all here under one rooski. That's right. So big wins this past week. Australia, unfortunately, putting 5 past Indonesia. South Korea keeping themselves in top spot over in Group B. And Iran looks also set to join Japan. But we'll have to get through the next round of games. So let's take a look at, of course, those in a second. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons, and a big shout out to Indonesia. We love you out there. So let's get back into it. I'll tell you what happened last time around. That's right. So these were the last round of games. Of course, should be on the screen right about now, of course. So my predictions are in the white. The real deal was on the left. So Uzbekistan did beat Kyrgyzstan in the Stani Derby there. 3-0 winners was mine, but it was just a 1-0 win. Uzbekistan could also go to their first ever World Cup. Looking good for them. Iran with a 2-0 win over UAE. I got that one spot on the nose. Qatar with a 5-1 win over North Korea. I went with a 3-1 win. South Korea could only draw against Oman. I went with a 4-0 win. Jordan did beat Palestine 3-1. I went with a 1-0. Iraq and Kuwait were level 2-2 over in the desert. I went with a 2-0 win there. Australia did put 5. I say 5 past Indonesia. Which, of course, was a bad result for Indonesia. But they're still in the thick of things for the race for 4th place. Japan with a 2-0 win over Bahrain. They weren't that great, were Japan, but they're there now and, of course, can plan for the next World Cup 2026. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia did beat China 1-0 as well. So that's the situation over there. And now the tables look a little bit like this, of course. So Iran lead the charge over in Group A with 19 points. That's right. Remember, top 2 go through. 3rd and 4th go into another round of playoffs. So Iran are looking good for another World Cup. Uzbekistan could join them as well. We'll see about that. Meanwhile, we'll go Group B. There it is. South Korea looking good, but a little bit of work to do as Jordan and Iraq make it very, very difficult for them as well to seal the bloody deal. Remember, there is, 3 games left. That's right. So what am I doing? I'm doing a quick bit of maths. I think a win for Iran this next week will seal the deal for them as well to go through. Japan are there. They cannot be caught at top spot. Australia are in 2nd spot now after that big win. Indonesia are still in 4th on goal difference. So we'll see how they make do this coming match day. So a lot on the plate still, and a lot can be in this next match day. So we are now taking a look at that next round of games. So sit tight, hold on, and let's get into it. All right then, folks, let's get into the next round of games. Of course, all kicking off this coming Tuesday, the 25th of March. We're going to start with, of course, this one. I think we are focusing. I think they're in group order. We'll see. We're going to start with, here we go, Kyrgyzstan. They're going to be taking on Qatar. That's right. So let's get in the deep end on this one taking place in Group A. That's right. Kyrgyzstan currently find themselves in a bit of a spot there with 3 defeats on the spin, 17% form for them. Just 1 win in the last 6. Because Qatar, 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 over the last 6. They're coming into just 1 win though in the last 5. And they played Kyrgyzstan Republic twice since 2018, and they won both of them. On that record, they have a 3-1 win, which is their highest. They've scored 4 goals in total against their opponents, an average of 2 goals a game. Meanwhile, Kyrgyzstan yet to get a win, yet to get a point, of course, and only scoring 1 goal in those 2 matches. Now, the last time they played, it was the reverse fixture in this World Cup qualification phase. It was a 3-1 win for Qatar in Qatar, but they've yet to play on Kyrgyzstani soil. This match will take place on the Dolan Ozmakistov Stadium in the Kyrgyzstan Republic. I've got basic odds on this one, and the odds do look like, where are we looking at? We're looking at a win for Qatar here. They are favoured for the victory. Not me, though. I'm going to go with a home win, which, of course, will give them a big old boost, in Qatar taking a bit of a dump in this round of matches. So a big step for Kyrgyzstan, maybe a massive a dent in the hopes and dreams of the Qatari nation. Let's go to the next one then. It's South Korea. They're going to be taking on Jordan. Let's get into the deep end then, shall we, on this one? Coming to the Suwon World Cup Stadium. That's right. Korea are doing good right now. Back-to-back games unbeaten. In fact, back-to-back draws, though. 83% form. They're unbeaten in at least the last 6 matches. Taking on a Jordan side, who are 50% form for them. 1 lost 1 and drawn 4 over the last 6. However, just 1 win in that last 6 and 1 defeat in the last 6. They are the draw kings. They're playing Korea Korea. South Korea 8 times in 2008, 5 wins for South Korea, 1 for Jordan, and there's been 2 draws. Coming into this, Korea do have a 4-0 win on the record. They have scored 13 goals against their opponents, so 1.63 goals a game on average. Jordan do have 1 win. It was a 2-0 win. They have scored 6 goals in total in those 8 matches, 0.75 goals a game. Now, the last time I played, it was a reverse fixture. It was in Jordan, and it was way back in October. It was on the wife's birthday. It was on the 2-0 winners for South Korea on match day number 3. However, Jordan have a recent win on their record against South Korea. It was in the AFC Asian Cup knockout stage semi-finals, which did lead to Jordan going through to a final, and they beat them 2-0. They'd love to get that, wouldn't they? Of course. Coming into this, of course, Jordan with that 3-1 win over Palestine. Korea with that 1-0 win, 1-1 draw against Oman. So not great. So back-to-back draws for Korea. That might be an opportunity knocks for their opponents, but I don't think so. Of course, it is on South Korean soil. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win in the end on this one. Let's go to China. They're taking on Australia. That's right. Coming out to the Husung Olympic Sports Centre. That's right. China, 33% form for them right now. Back-to-back defeats up against the Australia, the Socceroos. 67% form for them right now. Unbeaten in at least the last 6 matches. However, they've drawn 4 of that last 6, and they've played China 8 times since 2007. The Socceroos have won 4, China have won 2, and there's been 2 draws as well. China with a 4-3 win on the record. They've got 7 goals scored against the Australians, which are 0.88 goals a game on average. Australia, though, coming into this with a 3-0 win on the record, 14 goals scored against China, 1.75 goals a game. Now, the reverse fixture over down under, it was a 3-1 win for Australia back on October the 10th. Meanwhile, the last time they played in China, it was a 1-1 draw. Of course, that won't do good for either of these two nations. A win to really boost their chance. I think China need a win to get back into that 3rd, 4th qualifier. Australia need a win to maybe even not take control of the group, but at least maybe even join Japan as a 2nd place team. Australia on the back of that 5-1 win, home win against Indonesia. China on the back of that 1-0 loss to the Saudis. That's right. The odds for this one, though, China unfancied. Australia expected to win this game. Go in there as well with a 2-0 win as Australia looks set to join Japan in the World Cup. Let's go back to Group A. It's North Korea up against the United Arab Emirates. Of course, coming out to the Prince Fazlai bin Fahad Stadium. That's right, Korea. North Korea, that is. 17% form for them right now. 4 defeats on the spin without a win in at least the last 9 matches up against the United Arab Emirates, who coming into this on the back of 4 games without a win. They're on 50% form. That's 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6, but their last win was a long, long time ago. Up against the North Koreans, they played 6 times in 2008. 3 wins for North Korea, 1 for UAE, and there's been 2 draws. North Korea come out into this with a 2-0 win on the record, scoring 15 goals in those 6 matches, 2.50 goals a game on average. The United Arab Emirates have scored just 11 goals in those matches against the North Koreans. That's 1.83 goals a game. Last time around, it was a 1-1 draw in UAE when they played in match number 3. Last time I played, when the Koreans were the hosts. It was a 2-0 win for North Korea way back in August 2016. North Korea on the back of that 5-1 loss to Qatar. UAE on the back of that 2-0 loss to Iran. But they're expected to win this game, UAE, by the bookies. I'm going with a 1-1 draw, though, a point apiece, which doesn't do anybody any good in the long term. Let's go to Group B, and we have, who do we have here? Testing my flag knowledge. It is Palestine. It is Iraq, and it's coming at you over at the Amman International Stadium. Palestine, 17% form for them right now, without a win in the last 9 matches. Up against Iraq, who are winless in the last 3. They've really hit a bit of a damp squib of their qualification matches at the moment. They are still 50% form for them over the last 6, and have played Palestine 7 times in 2006, winning 6 of them and drawing just the 1. In those 6 wins, they won a 3-0 win was their highest, scoring 14 goals in those 7 matches, which works out around about 2 goals a game. Up against Palestine, yet to get a win, but they have scored 3 times against Iraq, stretching all the way back to 2006, which works out around about 0.43 goals a game. The reverse fixture was a 1-0 win for Iraq in Iraq way back in October. Last time that Palestine were the hosts. I'm looking at maybe a 2-1 win for Iraq. So, yes, out of the last 5 matches, Iraq have won all of them, and they've only conceded 1 goal against their opposition. They're expected to win this game, I am sure, with the bookies' odds, if I can find it. Yes, Iraq are the favourites, of course, with the bookies. I'm going with a 2-1 win as well. Not pretty, but enough to get back to winning ways. Let's go over to C then. The already qualified Japan up against the nation trying to get themselves there, and that is Saudi Arabia. Of course, Saudi Arabia will be hosting their next World Cup after this one. But they're coming out to the Santamina Stadium over in Japan, who are 92% form for them right now. They won 5 of the last 6. Up against Saudi Arabia, they won 4 of the last 6. Of course, 67% form for them. And of course, need to get themselves right back in the discussion for that 4th place zone there. 10 times they've played since 2006. 6 wins Japan, 4 wins Saudi Arabia. There's been no draws, of course. Japan, though, with a 5-0 win on the record. They scored 17 goals against their opponents, 1.70 goals a game. Up against Saudi Arabia, 1-0 winners was their biggest and only well, not only win, but their biggest win against Japan. They scored 8 goals in total, 0.80 goals a game on average. The reverse fixture in Saudi Arabia was a 2-0 win for Japan way back in October. The last time they played in Japan was also a 2-0 win. So back-to-back 2-0 wins for Japan, who are on the back of a 2-0 win as well, beating Bahrain. As for Saudi, picking up a 1-0 win over China, and that was in their own backyard. The bookies odds on this one, looking at it, Japan hot to trot here in their own backyard as well. Going to go with a 4-2 win, goals galore here in this match over in Japan. Let's go to Iran now, of course, up against Uzbekistan in what a game this is. Of course, top of the pops, Iran up against second place Uzbekistan in Group A. Iran on 92% form for them right now, winning 5 of the last 6. They're unbeaten in at least the last 11. Up against Uzbekistan, who've just lost once in the last 6. They're on 67% form for them as well. And they played each other 13 times since 2007. 8 wins Iran, just 1 win for Uzbekistan. There's been 4 draws as well. Iran's biggest win was a 2-0 win. They've got 13 goals against them. So that's a goal a game on average. Meanwhile, Uzbekistan have scored 5 goals against Iran. They've only won one match, was the 1-0 winners, and that's a 0.38 goals a game on average. However, back-to-back draws between these opponents, stretching all the way back to 2023. Last time anyone was victorious, it was a 2-1 win for Iran in Uzbekistan back in October 2020. This match, though, in Iran, and the last time they played, it was a 0-0 draw back in June 2024. Uzbekistan on the back of that 1-0 win over Kyrgyzstan Republic, back-to-back to 3 clean sheets on the spin for Uzbekistan. Meanwhile, Iran on the back of that 2-0 win over UAE. This one's tight. Iran should win it. They're at home. They're, of course, phenomenal at home. The bookies are going there as well. But for me, I'm going to give it to Iran, which should seal the deal for them. It'll put a bit of a spanner in the works for Uzbekistan. But a draw really opens up this group into the final couple of matches. Meanwhile, let's get into it. Of course, it is... who do we have here? It's... where are we? Testing my bloody knowledge. It is Kuwait. It is Oman. Let's come on to Jabal Al Hamad International Stadium, of course. Kuwait looking at 42% form for them right now. Just 1 win in the last 6, however, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Oman, who are 58% form for them right now. They've just 1 loss in the last 6 as well. They played Kuwait 10 times in 2009. 7 wins Oman, nothing for Kuwait. There's been 3 draws, of course. Kuwait, though, got 2 goals against them in the last 10, which is 0.20 goals a game. Up against Oman, who've got a 5-0 win on the record. They've scored 17 goals against Kuwait, so 1.70 goals a game on average. Now, coming into this, Kuwait and Oman did play way back in December 2024. It was a 1-1 draw. Meanwhile, the last time they played, that was in Kuwait. The reverse fixture was a 4-0 win for Oman way back in October in the 3rd round of qualifiers. Kuwait, though, on the back of that 2-2 draw against Iraq. And Oman also coming into this on the back of a draw as well. The odds for this one, Oman just about edge it. It could go either way. It does look like it could also be a draw. And that's what I'm doing as well, with a 1-1 in the end. And then finally over to Group C, it's the biggest game in town. It's Indonesia. It is Bahrain. And of course, it's coming at you over at the Gulu Bung Karno Sports Arena. That's right, Indonesia coming into this on 42% form. They are not looking good right now form-wise, and they need a result and fast. Of course, a penalty shout. I think there was a penalty in the last game against Australia early doors. If that had gone Indonesia's way, who knows what would have happened. But of course, heads dropped. 42% form for them. Winless in 4. 3 defeats on the spin. Up against Bahrain on 67% form for them right now. 2 defeats in the last 6. They're looking okay, are Bahrain at the moment. And they played Indonesia 4 times in 2007. 2 wins Bahrain, 1 win for Indonesia, and there's been 1 draw, of course. Indonesia have a 2-1 win on the record, scored 4 goals in those 4 games. It's a goal game on average. Up against Bahrain, who have a 10-0 win on the record. They scored 15 goals against Indonesia in those 4 games. 3.75 goals a game. Now, the reverse fixture was a 2-2 thriller way back in October 2024. We did the watch-along for that bad boy. Meanwhile, Bahrain, with a 10-0 win on the record, goodness gracious me, the last time I played in Indonesia, it was a 2-0 win for Bahrain as well. So, Indonesia need to roll back the years and get back to what happened in 2007 when they did win 2-1 against Bahrain. Meanwhile, Indonesia, of course, trying to forget about that 5-1 loss against Australia. A couple of those other defeats were in the Asian tournament that did take place in December, and Bahrain did losing to Japan, of course. The odds for this one, this will be interesting. It is going in favour of Indonesia. They're slightly favoured to win this game, so let's hope it. Let's hope. Going to go with a 2-1 win Indonesia, which will put them in a good spot to remain in the qualification process, because we got to finish 3rd or 4th in this group to keep the Indonesians in the mix heading into the next round of games, of course. But anyway, that's it, guys. Make sure you get your predictions in as well. I look forward to seeing you. But until then, we're done.